Okay. I'm really a stickler for starting on time, ending on time kind of thing, and I'm looking at the clock at 7:05. I know we've been waiting to let people in, but I would like to get started. So,
Okay.
Josh, you were going to voluntold someone or somehow arrange for our opening, so I'll pass it over to you, please.
Thank you, Ellie. I was voluntold for the opening ceremony, and I was very lucky to get somebody to volunteer to take over. So I'm now going to hand it over to Julian Bedell. Julian is the senior patrol leader for Troop 23 in Great Barrington, and he will lead us in our opening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So if you could please raise your Scout sign, I will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and your hand on your chest if you're not in uniform. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, if you could please raise your Scout sign for the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and more And now for the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Thank you very much, Julian.
Okay, all right. I am going to try to share my screen because I would like to talk for a second about the point of the Scout Law. Host disabled attendee screen sharing. Okay. All right, Matt, do you have the PowerPoint? Can you pull it up then?
Neither of us are hosts, so we wouldn't be able to share. So
you should be all set now, Ellie.
All right, thank you very much. And let's get this here. Our point of the Scout Law this month is trustworthy. I found a really cool set of postcards online that was put out by the Boy Scouts of America in 1913, I think. So this is a snapshot of trustworthy. But I'd like to also share a quote from Asajid Hapdewald. If we aren't trustworthy to our own words and values, why should we expect others to trust us with their resources, let alone with their lives? All right. So now we'll head on to council updates, Greg.
he's there.
Greg is really on vacation this week, and I know he was jumping in to help facilitate here. He's actually away somewhere, so he may have.
Yes, he's in Sri Lanka. So, all right. Josh, council updates, anything from you and what the future holds?
Thank you, Ellie. I'm more than happy to talk about a couple things that I have on my list. So just in general, there's still an awful lot going on within our council and within Scouting in general. There are a number of opportunities for Scouts and Scouters to remain active and have a strong connection to Scouting, even though we aren't able to be at Scout Camp. We're not able to go to various different activities that usually are the center of our summer. The first thing that I want to just quickly mention is momentum. So anybody who is a member of the Order of the Arrow should have received information about momentum. Originally, those of us who signed up for it should have actually been in Michigan, and we should be at NOAC, but that was canceled. And then they were going to have an in-person event at the summit, and then that was canceled. So now it's online. So the momentum starts tomorrow, and it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And there are going to be a number of activities that are going to be available to Scouts. There are going to be a number of keynote speakers, including Robert Gates and Rex Tillerson and Roger Mosby. So some really interesting people talking about Scouting and what's going on. So that's something that's available to people also. In terms of kind of membership things that are coming up, a reminder that on August 22nd, there is the membership material pickup, and I'm sure Cheryl and Art will talk more about this. But this is a perfect opportunity for people to pick up recruitment material. So put that on your calendar. That's Saturday, August 22nd at 10 o'clock up at the Pavilion at Moses. Anybody interested in advancement and recognition, there will be an advancement and recognition committee meeting on Thursday, August 20th at 3 o'clock. It'll be a Zoom meeting. And going on an international note, I want to thank everybody who was able to participate in this past weekend's, actually all of last week, and then this past weekend's Scarf Day events. It was a lot of fun. If you missed the campfire on Friday evening, it is forever recorded on the Facebook page, so you can go to the Facebook page anytime and listen to that. But there is going to be a international event coming up in September. So we've all heard, anybody who's gone through Wood Badge knows about Gilwell Park. And every year in September, there is what is known as a Gilwell reunion. Now you can have a Gilwell reunion anywhere, but there is one specific Gilwell reunion. It is the Gilwell reunion that happens at Gilwell Park. And that is scheduled for September 5th to the 6th. This year, the Gilwell reunion, because of COVID, will be online. It will be a virtual Gilwell reunion. So there is information that was just released today about the Gilwell reunion, and you can go online and you can sign up to attend the Gilwell reunion. So for those of you who might be interested in doing that, here's an opportunity to interact with other Scouts from around the world based on Wood Badge and Gilwell Park. The last thing that I will say in closing is I'll share a little bit of a tidbit with you. Last week, I was participating in a meeting with the Area Key 3, and Sal Ciempo, who is our area commissioner, was talking at the end of the meeting. And Sal is a very, very, very interesting person to listen to, very dynamic speaker. And one of the items that he mentioned, and I think that this was very important to remember, is this: we don't have control over everything. And no matter how much we want to have control over everything, that's never going to happen. And so as we move into August and we move into September and we move into that time where we usually are gearing up for major recruitment and so on and so forth, we can still do that, but we need to keep in mind how we can do that. That as much as we would love to be able to get into the schools and as much as we'd love to get into the libraries and wherever else, we're going to have to rethink how we do things and think outside of the box. And that is going to be, you know, one of the challenges, and I'm sure my commissioners are tired of me using that word at this point, but that will be one of the challenges of this year, is kind of rethinking how we usually do things going forward. So take control of the things that you can control and let the rest of it just go, because otherwise you'll drive yourself nuts. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay. Appalachian Trail, Rebecca and Colin, do you have updates for us?
I do. just want to remind everybody that August 8th is the Family Fun Fest. That'll be a great time to use that as for recruiting as well. August 10th is the district committee training, and that's going to be through Zoom. And anyone for my unit commissioners, I'm going to send out a Zoom link. August 17th is I'm going to have a unit commissioner meeting at 7 for all my unit commissioners.
Okay, thank you. From General Knox, August 9th is a popcorn show and sell. The orders are due. That's a reminder. August 12th, the commissioner meeting will be at 6:30. The district committee meeting will be at 7 o'clock. If you're interested in attending either of those, please contact Fritz for the meeting invitation. The charter partner chat is on August 25th, and people must pre-register for that. There is a membership media blast day coming up on August 26th, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that from Cheryl and Art a little bit later. August 29th is popcorn distribution for the show and sell. September 7th, mark your calendars. It is Labor Day, but it is also our virtual roundtable. And then September 12th right now is scheduled for a Cub Scout camp weekend. I also have been asked to share this piece with you that is, John Willamane asked me to share the 75th anniversary of the Moses Scout Reservation that's coming up in September. There will be more details on the website. And please, the big push is to share with people who are Scouting alumni. Get as many people as we can. And hopefully we will have a really cool 75th celebration there. Okay. And now for Mike from Metacomet.
Good evening. Mark, if you've got anything to throw in, jump in. We have a district meeting this Thursday. Again, a Zoom meeting. Mark will have the link. There's nothing else on the calendar for actual events other than what's posted on the council calendar. We are planning our fall events, and we'll adjust those as necessary depending on the status of the COVID and other restrictions. So, again, if anybody wants to join us for the district meeting on Thursday, we can just contact myself or Mark, and we'll make sure you get the link. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody?
Hi, Ellie, it's Mark.
Sorry, Mark. Yep.
That's all right. No, Mike covered it pretty much. We put out a call for new unit commissioners. We've had a couple positive responses, so we'll try to schedule a unit commissioner meeting or a district commissioner meeting. Maybe by Thursday, but probably not. The other thing I wanted to say is at this point, we're focusing on the membership, recruiting materials pickup day at Moses. We're going to hopefully have somebody from Metacomet there to connect with our units who come down to pick up. I think, like Mike said, we got a meeting Thursday, so that'll be it for us for now.
All right. Do we have anyone from Order of the Arrow who has anything else to share other than what Josh gave us earlier? Okay, hearing none. Anybody about Trading Post? Any updates on the Trading Post? Okay. Next on the agenda.
Trading Post.
Trading
Art Lobdell.
Post? Art. Good. Because we can roll right in from Trading Post to popcorn.
Just making sure that everyone is aware at the Westfield location, we have cut back our hours due to there just not being foot traffic coming in. So we are now only open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in Westfield. Pittsfield is still maintaining its regular hours. Also, on Mondays, it doesn't open until 11:30. So it's 11:30 to 7. And then the usual hours on Wednesday and Friday. Also, a announcement: we will the offices at both locations will be closed Thursday and Friday of next week for a national staff conference that all BSA employees are participating in virtually, but we won't be answering the doors or the phone or the scout shop. So we are closed on the 13th and 14th. Said, certainly I heard both of the things mentioned in terms of dates, that we have the show and sell orders due coming up and the distribution at the end of the month. Did want to clarify for everyone a couple of big changes that we had from the past. This year, the show and sell orders are not returnable because of what's happening with COVID, all those sorts of things. We can't take products back. So folks may consider making their orders smaller based on knowing what it is that they will sell. Hopefully we'll be able to also add into the routine that we haven't had before, a restock day. That is something that we are working with Trails End to try far in the popcorn sale. It did start much earlier this year because of the availability of being able to use the app and the website to sell popcorn. Collectively, we're coming up to almost $10,000 in sales with those 27 units. So certainly want to thank emails, without Facebook posts, and we see them at the same time as you do.
Okay. Did we lose Art?
Sounds
Right.
like, yeah.
Okay. Cheryl,
His
you and
sound quality was
Oh.
really tough.
Yeah.
His sound quality was very tough to hear.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Cheryl, recruitment, you and Art? I'm sorry, before we get to that, I need volunteers for opening and closing for next month.
I need to find where I can.
Okay, well, you look for that. I'll look for volunteers for opening and for closing for
I
next
can't see my screen until I find it.
Ellie, I'm going to volunteer for the opening. I'd like to try to use some of the national content for that.
month. Okay.
Optimize. Oh my goodness. I'm looking for my
I'll do closing, and I too will try to look at national content. I suppose one of the things I should let people know about is that this month begins a transition to a new national model for roundtables that is for the most part, virtual roundtables, and they are providing us with some support, roundtable support virtually, so that we are getting some information to share with you from national that is coming in the form of some documents and others in video. So Matt and I will try to utilize some of that next month. We're going to use a little bit of it tonight, but we'll be sharing more of it as time progresses.
Ellie, can you put George down next to my name as well? I think he wants to participate in that opening also.
I see that big smile on George's face.
Thanks.
I see that big grin. All set, Cheryl?
I think so. We'll see if this works. It doesn't appear to be doing my slideshow though, does it? Play from the start. Okay, thank you for allowing this. Like I said, new computer. You've all seen this. We're staying with our plan. All in for scouting. But we've got some new materials.
My name is Marley, and I'm a scout. So today I'm here to talk to you about becoming a scout just like me. Adventure is what scouting is all about. Scouts go whitewater rafting, climbing, hiking, and camping. Scouts can also participate in STEM and even become an Eagle Scout, the highest rank possible in Scouts BSA, all while making great friends. Visit scoutsbsa.org, where you will be able to find a troop near you, get any questions answered, and sign up to be a scout online. My name is Marley, and I'm a scout. My name is Marley.
Well, here we go. So
use the arrows at the bottom of the screen. I think that will help you. There you go. You got it.
Those videos there are a number of in that series, Scout and Cub Scout, available. Some also in Spanish, and they will probably add other languages going forward. But we'll talk more about those later on. But I think they're great recruitment tools, and they're available to every one of us. We have another recruitment tool from the National. It's the National Open House, which is the Family Fun Fest. That's this Saturday. It's a Facebook Live event, and you can sign up for that. We ask you to register in advance. Go to our council website, sign up for it. But the most important piece about this is that it's intended as an opportunity for non-scouts and their families to try out scouting. So we want every parent in every unit to invite a non-scout family to join them for the BSA Family Fun Fest this Saturday. Other upcoming events that you've heard about, the August 22nd Membership Material Pickup Day. That's at the McGee Pavilion. Pre-order your materials. We'll have them ready for you. And then August 26th, our annual Media Blast Day. This is when we blanket Western Mass to let everybody know that we're scouts and we're here and we're ready to have other people join us as well. So go all out, do as much as you can for that one. Other events. In September, I think on the 12th, there's another National Open House to join scouting. More information will follow. But that comes just before our Join Scouting Week, the week of September 14th, when you can hold your recruitment event. Oops. Sorry. And then the 19th, we know is WOW. So invite a new family to enjoy WOW with you, and at the same time, participate in the Moses reunion, or the reunion, because that's the 75th anniversary. Our virtual recruiter challenge is still on, but it ends August 22nd. And I've already heard from one unit that we have a scout and a leader who are eligible for the patch. Congratulations, and thanks for signing up a new scout. We have a lot of resources available to us on our Western Mass Council Marketing and Membership Resources page and at the BSA Marketing and Membership Hub and Brand Center. You'll be able to find all kinds of print material, video, social media help, whatever you need is available there. So please take a look at it and use it. BSA is continuing their recruitment webinar series. There's one this Thursday and another later in the month. Pre-register. If you missed the first ones in the series, go to the Membership and Marketing Hub. You'll find the recordings there. And again, all in for scouting. Please continue to keep in touch with me. I really enjoy hearing from you. And Art and I are available to answer any of your questions. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next up on the agenda, we have a new element from the national piece, and this is what they're calling a safety moment. And so I'm going to open this up and I can scroll through it. Matt's going to be talking about some of the safety of getting back into in-person meetings and what the requirements and those updates.
So I'm going to be just kind of giving a brief overview of this material. There's too much material to be kind of gone through by individually, but I do recommend that everybody take a look at this checklist. I can put a link in the chat in a few minutes, but essentially they've laid out what we need to be thinking about before we start getting back into regular meetings, or what's going to be considered a regular meeting for a while. We need to use the acronym of SAFE when we are considering restarting scouting. S is supervision. So they want to make sure that we are engaging our chartered organizations and our council and making sure that we're following guidelines set by both of those groups before we are getting together. We should be not only engaging with our council, but our chartered organization, because they may have additional guidelines that they want us to follow and they need us to follow. And we are supposed to be using the before you gather guidelines, which is on the second page, but essentially, again, communicate with your chartered organization and your council. Communicate to your parents and youth that people that are in higher risk categories consider not taking part in person and engage virtually. Communicate that people that are feeling sick should stay home, and if you become sick, isolate yourself and go home and seek care. Make sure that everybody is educated and trained on proper social distancing, cleaning and disinfecting, hand hygiene, respiratory etiquette before meeting for the first time. This would be a great virtual meeting beforehand so everybody understands the basics of hand washing and social distancing before you even consider getting together. And as necessary, remind scouts and leaders about these behaviors. And before attending, make sure that everybody is screened for the following signs or symptoms of COVID-19, things like coughing, shortness of breath, chills, etc. So there are a lot of potential symptoms of this disease, and we need to make sure that people are aware, and if they're having any of these symptoms, that they are not attending scouting in person. They are pretty detailed, so make sure everybody is aware of these so that they can be screened, and that screening should happen well before the get-together. Everyone needs to be wearing face coverings when gathering in public areas, and it may be a good idea to have multiple face coverings available as extras in case people need a new one. And if you are participating in these events as a group and you're going home to a person that might be at risk for example, a person that's older or somebody with respiratory illness, you should avoid them for 14 days. So these are things that many people have to consider before even coming together. And that's just the F part of it. The assessment A is identify people who are higher risk and make sure that they are not participating, and are, if they have people at home that are at higher risk, that we are avoiding them for up to 14 days. Verify that the group the size is not prohibited by local or state orders. If you do go on the council website, there are links to the most recent update from the state, which says groups of 10 for scout groups, and that's going to be smaller groups of 10 that are staying together and with one adult leader, not moving between the groups. So, you know, read that material. It's pretty in depth, and it's important that these things are followed. Moving on, we need to make sure that we are fitness and skill, review the annual health records, and consider using a pre-event screening for all participants. So there's actually a link to a form that you can use for that pre-event screening, things like temperature checks. And E, make sure that we have the equipment and the environment that's safe. Verify that we have hand washing and cleaning supplies available and used properly. Monitor for social distancing. Make sure that people are not sharing equipment and food among each other. Monitor for participants for changing health conditions. So if you see anybody developing symptoms, isolate them. And use the as you gather protocols. And there's, again, a whole list of those on the right side, things like group sizes, you know, minimize mixing of groups, use hand sanitizer, et cetera, et cetera. It goes in depth pretty well. So I'm going to put the link to this guideline in the chat in a second, so you guys can all read it and take a look. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. The council can answer questions. Again, you should be communicating with council and your chartered organization if you have specific questions or wants in terms of guidelines. So it's pretty involved. I do recommend everybody read this well before they start considering getting back together with their units. Back to you.
So again, challenges. And we know there are a lot of challenges in 2020. We have bankruptcy and lawsuits. You've probably seen ads about that. That's making a lot of people uncomfortable. But those are required as part of the legal process. Just know that these are lawsuits on abuse that happened many years ago, many decades ago. Since then, for 20, 30 years, we've had our youth protection policy. We've had the training that's recognized by experts as top in the field that it works. So reassure people that these are old cases. We are training everyone, youth and adults, to recognize, resist, and report suspected abuse. Scouting is recognized as a premier character and leadership development program and will continue to prepare our youth to make moral and ethical decisions now and for their future. We know that COVID-19 and the quarantine have been huge challenges for every aspect of our lives. That's probably going to continue for some time. And that statement, well, the way we've always done it, this is holding us back. And we have to let go of that. We know that the way we've always done it just is not going to work this year. We're not going to be in the schools. We're not going to be in the libraries. It's time to find a new way. This is how we're going to meet the challenges of 2020. I have another quick video. Let's see if this one will work. This is a Cub one. Whoops.
Oh, hello there. My name is Dax, and I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a Cub Scout, like me. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities. We make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, fishing, and swimming together. We have fun. We play sports, go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Visit beascout.org to find a pack near you. Hello there.
There we go again.
Oh, hello.
Here we go. Now you also know that we've got the National Open House coming up August 8th. Again, I want to repeat, every family should invite at least one new family, a non-Scout family, participate with them this weekend. This is our opportunity to share Scouting and get it started. Fall recruitment. Be prepared, do your best. We're used to those statements, but let's put them into practice. If we're going to have an effective fall recruitment, we need to prepare, we need to plan. You know, recruitment is not the job for council or for leaders or the kids. It's not the responsibility of BSA. BSA is helping us. Recruitment is something that we all do. Everyone needs to be involved, particularly for families, not just leaders. So think, why did you join Scouting? Why have you stayed involved? What benefits have you experienced for yourself, your child, and your family because of your experience and your participation in the Scouting movement? Share those things. We need everyone at this roundtable meeting this evening to spread this message to your fellow leaders and to every family in your unit. So think about, how does your unit want to grow? Do you want to set a goal of the number of new youth, the number of new adult leaders? Or do you want to grow a particular grade level or rank or age group for your Scouts? Think about, where are you going to recruit? Are you the only show in town for Scouting? Great. But are there others in your town that also have Scouting units? Why not join them and collaborate rather than compete? If everybody coordinates, you'll probably all grow together. Are there towns near your town that have no units? Well, reach out to them as well. So don't infringe on another town's territory, but don't ignore underserved areas. So who's going to lead your joint Scouting efforts? You know, a lot of times we say, oh, it's up to the Cub Master, the Scout Master, the chairperson. It's up to everyone. Who's the best person to lead your effort? Is it the new member coordinator? Or is there someone in your unit that is really great at organizing and wants to grab hold of this and run with it? So regardless of who you designate as a leader, everybody needs to be involved. Remember, we want to get all families involved as well. So who is going to work with the leaders in the group, and who's going to work with those families to get them to reach out to help out? You want everyone available to use whatever resources they have available. You know, someone in your unit knows someone who can get your dates on the town calendar, or who can get a Scout Talk video like the one I just showed you onto the school website or morning meeting. There's someone in your unit who has an in with a reporter or at the TV station. Is there a social media influencer in your community? How about the town council? Will they declare Joint Scouts Day for all the units in your town? Keep thinking. Find a new way and share that with all of us. We know we're not going to be in the schools. We're not doing a big library day again this year. But what we're going to be looking for is, what's the most effective way to recruit new people in your town? And that's going to look different in every community. So stop for a bit and think about it. What attracts people to an event in your community? How are people feeling right now? Are people comfortable out in public? Are they comfortable gathering in small groups outside? Or are they really staying on their own? All that has to be taken into account. So you may find yourself not at all doing the way you used to do it, but something entirely different. That's probably uncomfortable, something you haven't done before. We're all going to have to step out of our comfort zone a little bit and learn something new. We have people in our units that can help us. They may not be the Cub Master or the committee chair or the charter dog rep, but maybe there's a parent who uses Zoom all the time and is comfortable doing that. Maybe you've got someone who does writing and can get your notices out. Make sure you know what you're going to use. So think of how you're going to do it. If you're comfortable being outside, having in-person events, and your chartering partner allows it, great. You're all set. Plan something outside. You're probably going to want to have covering so that in case of inclement weather, you want to keep people distanced. You're not going to have folks moving round robin from table to table the way we often do. You're going to have a whole setup at the same setup, identical, at a number of tables where the individual families can gather and get information and speak to someone who's informed. You might want to have packets of information already bagged with a pen so that you can just hand that to folks attending your in-person recruitment. Encourage folks to apply and join online. We have the Tiny URL or a CR code that you can post, and folks can do that. If they want a paper application, it's in the packet with that pen, have a box where they can drop it off. Now, if you're not so much for the in-person group kind of event, how about a drive-through? Get permission to use a public lot. Have the materials, again, bagged and available as folks come through, and a spot where they can drop off the applications. Have everything in that packet. Contacts for leaders, the information of where to get uniforming, your meeting schedule, the fee schedule. Now, if you've been meeting virtually, you know what platform is working for you, and you know why we do the virtual, and we're careful about security. We're doing this by invitation only and by pre-registration. So if you're going to do a virtual recruitment, you're going to invite people, they're going to register, and you're going to provide them a link to join your Zoom or your Facebook Live event, and you're going to email them PDFs of the information that you would have been handing out. You could also consider pre-recording a short presentation about what scouting's like in your unit. Post that, send that out to people. So what's going to work best for your unit? Think about it, start now, and plan together to make it work. Once you decide what you're going to do, your format, order your supplies. You know that you can get posters, yard signs, applications, invitation cards. You can print postcards, whatever. A lot of this we have available. Pick it up on August 22nd. By the way, that's the day to turn in all applications for your virtual recruiter patch. Contact us to find your unit's URL, tiny URL that will link possible new members to a registration site specifically for your unit. There's also a QR code for that. And plan your promotion. When you're promoting, surround the community with signs of scouting. Use the community bulletin board, yard signs, posters. Consider a car parade. Get permission, have your cars, and have a set route. Decorate the cars and make sure that you have prominently posted the date and time and the venue for your joining unit. Include contact information where people can get more information. Engage your chartered partner to include your posts on their sites, in their publications. Have a chartered partner, maybe your chartered org rep or the head of your chartered organization, record a testimonial about how scouting has benefited the organization. the advantages of hosting a scout unit and encouraging other folks to join that. Enlist the support of the schools, your PTO, the principal, the superintendent, the school committee. Have them share your posts so that you've got information spread in lots of different channels. Review the videos at the Brand Center. There are so many of them. There's a 5-minute video that explains, a 4-minute video actually, that explains the five questions of scouting. Have that available for folks. You can also make that a plan of how you're going to set up your stuff. So how else can you promote your unit and the recruitment this fall? Ask those families, family to family is the most powerful way to spread scouting. And every family has a story, why they joined, why they're involved, what they've gained. Ask them to record something, nothing long, post it, have them share that on their social media. You can download and send a Boys Life mini mag. We're not getting the physical mini mags this fall like we often do. Those are available online, PDF or digital format. Send them out so that people can see what they'll be doing when they sign up. But the most important thing that you can do is to have every family in your unit invite a new family to participate in some way in scouting. And if they're interested, they'll join. Media blast. This is the day that we're going to go all out and blanket Western Mass with promotional information. Join Scout Week. Well, when we planned this in the spring, we naively thought that we'd be back in school in early September and, we'd be able to get there and we'd be able to recruit. Now it looks like some communities are going to start school mid-September. So if you want to plan your Join Scouting event early in the month, do it. Don't wait until late in the month. We don't want to lose time. We want to work as early as possible so that scouts can join our unit and enjoy the benefits of scouting. Hold your recruitment event. Plan to accept electronic information applications. If you use paper applications, decide who's responsible for collecting and turning those in. Follow up with new members. Decide who's going to do that. Is it the den leader or the assistant scoutmaster that's going to welcome new families? The new member coordinator is invaluable here. Thank all the families who helped you recruit and publicize your events. Submit an article to the local paper about your recruitment event and the positive results that you saw, and then be prepared to have more families join when they read about that. Here again, other resources. We'll have this posted for you on our marketing and membership page. Always, you can go to the marketing and membership and brand center hub of BSA. We have 2 more recruiting webinars this week. One this week, one in the middle of the month. So in closing, everything stopped in March. We remember that. It was really pretty sudden. School closed, businesses, even stopped church services. But scouting kept going. Some units never lost a beat. Continued to meet. We've been holding virtual roundtables. We've engaged our kids. We've even found a way to camp. Our scouts throughout all of this quarantine have been learning, connecting. They've had fun. They've built more positive relationships, and they're developing the character and leadership skills because they've been scouting. So we know that we've got challenges, but we're going to find a new way. And Josh, thanks for mentioning Sal Ciempo. We're thinking outside the box. There isn't a box. We're thinking of how we can continue to grow scouting in Western Mass. Thank you.
miss the whole purpose. Okay, so you'll miss the whole purpose of what this presentation's about, this activity. So seriously, grab some paper and a pen, you know, and usually you have to wait 5 minutes for everyone, but we ain't got the time. So here it goes.
Students get to create their own characters, monsters, makes them a little bit more
Try and get to work.
Hi, I've got a question for you. How many people here would say they can draw? Well, I think we've got about 1 or 2% of the hands going up. And it's interesting, isn't it? It's a little bit like people think of spelling or singing. They think, well, you can either do it or you can't. But I think you can. Because when people say they can't draw, I think it's more to do with beliefs rather than talent and ability. So I think when you say you can't draw, that's just an illusion. And today I'd like to prove that to you. Now when I say draw, I'm not saying we're all going to draw like Michelangelo. We're not going to be painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. But would you be happy if, by the end of this session, you could draw pictures a little bit like this? Or even a little bit like this? Well, actually, there's only 2 things you need to do to be able to achieve this. 1 is have an open mind. Are you up for that? Yes. And 2, just be prepared to have a go. So grab a pen and a piece of paper. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. I'll show you the first cartoon we're going to do, so just watch to begin with. Here we go. Just watching. That's going to be our first cartoon. It's a character called Spike. So I'd like you to draw along with me. So I'll draw the first line, you draw, and when you've done that, look up, and I know you're ready for the next line. Okay, here we go. Start with the nose.
So we're in a break.
Now, the eyes, they're like 66s or speech marks. That's it. Next, the mouth. Nice big smile. Now, over here, the ear. Next, some spiky hair. Next, put the pen to the left of the mouth. Little line like that. Pen under the ear. Drop a line like that. Pen to the left of the neck. Top of the t-shirt. Line to the left. Line to the right. Just hold your drawings up and show everyone. How are we all doing? Okay. Okay, fantastic. So, it looks like you've just learned to draw one cartoon, but you've actually learned more than that. You've learned a sequence that would enable you to draw hundreds and thousands of different cartoons, because we're just going to do little variations on that sequence. Have a go at this. Draw along with me. Nose. Eyes. Smile. That's it. Now some hair. Pen to the left of the mouth. Under the hair. Little V shape for the top. Line to the left. Line to the right. So we've got another character. Let's call her Thelma. So we've got Spike and Thelma. Let's try another one. Here we go. Another little variation, getting the idea. Starting with the nose. But this time we'll change the eyes slightly. Look, 2 circles together like that. That's it. Then 2 little dots in for the eyes. And this time, we'll change the mouth slightly. Watch. Little circle coloured in there. Have a go at that. Next, the ear. Now we'll have some fun with the hair. Watch. Some nice curly hair. Then same thing, pen to the left of the mouth, little line like that. Under the ear, drop a line. Top of the t-shirt, line to the left, line to the right. I think we'll call him Jeff. We'll do one more. One more go. Here we go. You're getting the idea. So we'll start with a nose again. Notice we're doing little variations. Now we'll change the eyes so we've got them apart, and we'll put some little dots in like that. Next, the mouth's slightly different. Let's put a little V shape like that. Triangle. And a little line across, and we'll just colour this little bit in. Now watch this bit carefully. Some hair. Watch. Here we go. A little line like that. Next, a bit more there. And watch, a couple of triangles to make a little bow. Triangle at the bottom, rest of the hair. Pen to the left of the mouth again. You get the idea. Drop a line for the neck. Another V shape. Line to the left, line to the right. There we go. Let's call her Pam. So you've done 4 cartoons. You can have a little rest now. Take a rest. You're getting the idea. All we're doing is little variations. We could go on, I'll just demonstrate a couple to you. We could go on all day, couldn't we? You could do someone looking unhappy, a bit like that. Or you could experiment with perhaps someone who's, just draw a straight line. Someone looking a bit fed up, or perhaps you could do anything you like, really. Just try things out. Look at this. Little squiggle. There we are. So all sorts of things we could do. Actually, one more I'll let you do. One more idea. This is a great little technique. Have a go at this. People with glasses on. Just draw a nose a bit like spikes. Next. Draw some frames, so 2 circles like that with a little bit in between. Now, just put some dots inside for the eyes like that. Next, the ear, so it's a little bit like we did before. But this time, we'll join up the frames. That's it. Watch this bit. And this bit I really like. Watch. And then, a little bit there. Pencil under the moustache, line down. Top of the shirt, left and right. So there we have it. We could carry on, couldn't we? Hopefully we've done enough to convince you that, in fact, we can all draw. And not just people here. I've worked with, I'm going to give you 3 examples of other people who've learned to draw, and it actually surprised them too. And I'm going to save what I think is my favourite, most surprising example until last. The first example is I've worked a lot with children and students in schools. And actually the little ones, they just draw fine, but when they get to about 15 or 16, most of them think they can't draw. But I've worked with them. I worked this week in a school where I was coaching them on using pictures for memory. And a girl was trying to remember what red blood cells do. And she drew this little picture of a red blood cell carrying a handbag with O2 on it to remind her that the red blood cells carry oxygen to all parts of the body. That was a great one. The other people I've worked with is many adults in all walks of life, and particularly in business, and they often will want to make presentations memorable. So again, a quick cartoon or a sketch could be really good for that. And again, most people think they can't draw, but take this example. A couple of wavy lines. Little boat. could be a metaphor to represent we're all in this together. So that, if that was just drawn in a presentation, would really stay in the memory, wouldn't it? Yeah. But the third example is, you shouldn't have favourites really, should you? This is my favourite. Have you ever been at a party when someone asks you what you do? I always get a bit sceptical when people ask me that. And this lady said to me, I said, I do a bit of training and I teach people to draw. And she said, would you come along and do some for our group? She said, I work with some people, she was a volunteer, a group of people who've suffered strokes. So I said, well, I'm sure I could, spare some time for that. So I said I would, and I booked a time in. Have you ever done that? And you get nearer the time and you think, what have I let myself in for here? Will I be able to do it? I thought, what could I do with them, you see? So I know, I'll do my cartoon drawing, they'll like that. But then as I got nearer the time, I got more and more apprehensive, because then I was thinking, well, I've worked with children, I've worked with all sorts of adults, I've never worked with a group like this. And it turns out it was all part of a charity called Talk. And this Talk charity is a wonderful charity that helps people who've suffered strokes but have a particular condition known as aphasia. You might have heard of aphasia, sometimes called dysphasia. And the key thing is, it affects their ability to communicate. So, for example, they might have trouble reading, writing, speaking, or understanding. And it can be quite an isolating condition. It can be very, very frustrating and can lead to a loss of confidence. Anyway, so I prepared all this stuff, went to do this session for a couple of hours, tea break in the middle, and I got more apprehensive. But actually, I needn't have worried, because I'm going to show you now the work that they did. And it was one of the best things I've ever done. I'm going to show you the first slide. And I taught them Spike, just like I did for you. And I want you to see the reaction on their faces when they did this. What you can see here are two of the stroke recoverers on the left and right, and one of the volunteer helpers in the centre. And each stroke recoverer, there are about 36 in the room with volunteers as well. There's one-to-one helpers. And you can just see the delight on their faces, can't you? Let's look at another picture. This is a gentleman called David, and he's holding up his picture, and you can tell it was the picture of Spike, can't you? In fact, I think he's drawn Spike even better there. But what I didn't realise until even after the session was that a number of the people in this session, including David, were drawing with their wrong hand. David's stroke meant that it affected the right side of his body, and he drew with his left hand, as many did. Nobody mentioned it to me. Nobody complained. They just got on with it. And it was an inspirational session for me. It was quite a humbling session, one of the best things I felt I've ever done. And at the end of it, I had a lovely email from Dr. Mike Jordan, and he's the chair of the Talk group, happens to be a medical doctor, he's the chair of the group. And he wrote to me, and I'm quoting, he said, our recoverers learned today that they can draw. He said, but more than that, this sort of activity really builds their confidence. So I was happy, he was happy, everyone was happy. They've invited me back again, and I go in there now about every 3 or 4 months. So it's great. So I thought that was a lovely example to share. Fancy one more drawing? Here we go. Grab your pens. Here we go. Right, I'm going to get you to draw someone that you would recognise. So, start with a big nose, a bit like Spike's. Next, we'll do some eyes, and you might be thinking, this is also a bit like Spike. Watch the next bit. You're getting warm? There you go. Little line down there. Down here. Little V shape. Line to the left, line to the right. Then you've got Albert Einstein. So, you've got the pens with you. You've proved that you can. You've proved that you can draw. You're very welcome to take the pens with you and have a practice at home, even show somebody else. But actually, I'd like to leave you with a final thought. When you walked in here today, many of you didn't believe you could draw. And, I've got a question for you about that. How many other beliefs and limiting thoughts do we all carry around with us every day? Beliefs that we could perhaps potentially challenge and think differently about. And if we did challenge those beliefs and think differently about them, apart from drawing, what else would be possible for us all? Thank you very much.
Thanks for the help, Sean. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So that's pretty much the message. So we're gonna get bumped out in a minute in a few minutes, in a few seconds. So I can send out the PowerPoint if you want, but I see Matt shared in the comments the link to that. So it's a good activity, actually. One of my scouts, Steven, was on, and real quick, he's been doing the basket merit badge last week, and he quit. He's like, I can't do it. I can't make a round basket. And so he actually just sent me a text. He's knocking off because his eyes are bothering. He's been on Zoom all day, but he thanked me for inviting him to this because he understands now why I've been pushing him all week to do the basket. Your beliefs are limiting you. I mean, it's not that hard, just need a little, help there. So, but I think it's a good message. Something we should be working with our scouts with. So, all right. Any questions? Good. Well, this should be bouncing us back in a minute, I would think.
So what I came up with today, and I've been gathering all this information in the meantime, but there's a lot of, recently, there's been a lot of really good web seminars we've been able to attend as Scouters. I've been able to attend a few between being a commissioner and also recruiting and so forth. And throughout those web seminars, I gathered a lot of websites and also from the personal emails I get from Boys Life, Scouting Wire, and so forth. And I wanted to go over some of the resources we have. And I can somehow get these links out to you later on once we figure out how to do that as well. So for people that don't know, we have a BSA marketing and membership websites. And at that website, you can have the marketing and membership. You can actually go out there and buy, they have pre-created flyers for you. Not the business cards, but the youth business cards they have that your scouters can hand to their friends with the information of where your unit meets and everything else. All that's available there for you to use. You just have to download it and just basically fill in your information that you need. The only thing you will have to do with this particular website is you will have to create an account. Because if you don't create an account, you cannot download anything. So it'll let you view everything, but it won't let you download anything. But create an account is free. They just want to be able to track who's using the national marketing information. There's also another article that was out there about how to use social media to spread the word about scouting, and it covers over the use of hashtags, which we see all the time, like Scouting 413. There's a ton of hashtags out there. I can't even keep track of it anymore. And about ready-made social posts on both Facebook and Instagram. One thing that was covered last year when Alex was our district executive, when we talked about recruiting in 2019, was the use of geofencing, which is which is part of Facebook, and what it allows you to do is, and if you go to these links, they give you detailed instructions on how to use everything, but with geofencing, I was gonna say geocaching, geofencing, what's cool about that is you can actually set up an area either around where you meet or within a confined area of outside where you meet, either with schools, with your charter organizations. Some councils do it, whereas if you drive by that, you'll actually get a Facebook pop-up message advertising what that particular event that's going on with there. It's very similar to what you may experience when the mall used to go to the mall. You go to the Verizon store, for example, and they would give a pop-up message on your phone saying, oh yeah, we have all these promos going on, we have these plans going on. It's very similar to that. The one thing you have to remember with geofencing is that the longer you wait, so for example, if you had a recruiting event tonight and you set up geofencing this morning, it's going to be much more expensive than it would be if you planned this months down the road. So if you have planned this ahead of time, it's a very reasonable price. If you're waiting to the very last minute to do it, that's where you'll feel the pinch in the price. Next door, I have not seen. This is the first time I've ever even seen that term used, and I really didn't get a chance to use it or even to look at it. Also, within these things as well, as Cheryl was alluding to, because actually I had to look this up myself, if you go to your troop, pack, crew, ships site in terms of within scouting.org, you can actually go under invitations. I'm trying not to mix this up with commissioner tools and everything else, but if you actually go into invitation manager, you have the ability to create your own QR code. And you can then use that QR code to.
Rob, I think it's assigned to you. I think that Tiny Earl and the QR code are assigned to you, and
Correct.
we can get that through the registrar.
Well, it's actually, you can actually get it off the page as well.
Yes, so it has been assigned to you and set. And we can get that. If you can't find it on your own, get in touch with me or with Art. And you can contact us through the Western Mass Council Marketing and Membership page. And next door is a social media app that you can use, that's for neighborhoods. It's a small area so that you're communicating really with people that are next door to you within a small geographic area. So you would have common interests. And that's something that's, I haven't used it myself, but I do know folks who have used it. And geofencing is something that you can set up the area where you want to attract people to know about your event. So you can set up a geographic area. The larger the area you set, the more it may cost you. And the longer you want it to run, it may cost more. But you can do it for about $1 a day. You should run it probably a week, 2 weeks before your event, so that when people come into the area, they get that ding and they know about it. But you can put a link on that so that your meeting location is not at that spot, but some other way. So you could have a virtual event, but you could geofence it over a few mile radius or a 10-mile radius even, and attract people to your virtual event through geofencing. BSA National is going to be doing some boosting for the Be a Scout sites and for the zip codes. So we may get some more traffic traction from that as well. But local is really great if you can do it.
One thing they did mention in the last webinar was that if you actually Google Find Scouts Near Me, it actually will appear at the top of the search now.
It should.
It does. I validated it tonight for Roundtable.
And that's what BSA is boosting, that kind of thing for us. So they are doing some things to really help us out this year.
And what's nice about the QR codes is if you put them on the back of business cards, if you have it signed in front of people's houses and so forth, it used to have a particular app to read them. From what I can tell with most cameras now, like on your cell phone, you can actually just take a picture of it and it'll ask you, do you wish to go to this website? And it'll bring you to that particular website for your troop, pack, crew, or ship.
And it's the joining site, so you can get right there and they can, do an app. Super.
So as I continue with this, a lot of these links, there's a lot of information within these links. On one of them, there is an online recruitment tool, and the PDF alone, I think, was 50 pages. And that covered, they covered everything you could actually ever think of. One thing I also wanted to cover was there was also additional things that they were recommending on the scouting where, like as Cheryl mentioned, back to school drive-throughs, coordination with principals, QR code or unit flyers, communicate with your fall sign-up chair and district membership committee. Are you doing virtual scout talks or sending some previously recorded videos to schools? So if you go back to that marketing website, there's a lot of pre-recorded scout talks that are available now. We used to have our district executives go to local schools and do the talks in person, but with everything going on, that's not really feasible at this time. Work with your training chair, which is me, for General Knox. Set up new leader training, that's a whole different story right now. Work with your commissioner core, online applications, develop plans to deliver your buzz up. Cheryl, do you know what that was? The buzz up?
That's mostly just to get people excited.
That's what I thought.
Plans of how you're going to promote this. That was my, my shtick.
Yeah. And then reach out to your unit leaders and families, virtual program kickoff via Facebook, make content relevant. And I also did include the link for the membership material pickup that will be happening, as Cheryl mentioned earlier, up at this Moses Scout Reservation at the McGee Pavilion if weather permits. So, a lot of
what you've got here, it was discussed at a regional meeting in terms of how to recruit and get the families involved. So a lot of this list is endorsed in that way as well. So we have a lot of resources available to us and a lot of options. This is a good list.
Yeah, so this basically was my quick synopsis of everything that was dumped into my mind over the last couple of months. We started doing these webinars and so forth. As Cheryl said, reach out to her, reach out to Art, and also if you have any questions, always reach out to your unit commissioner, because we have access to usually the same resources, or we can easily reach out to others as needed. The other nice thing about the site is when you get to the BSA brand site, this is where I got this logo, for example. You can actually download logos that you can use for your website, your Facebook page, business cards, and so forth. The one thing that they ask you, please read the guidelines, because they actually give you very specific branding guidelines in terms of you cannot alter the colors, you cannot alter the symbols, this symbol is no longer valid. So there's actually a very brief but entailed branding guideline, because as with any other symbol used in corporations and that, we are also protecting our own trademarks as well to ensure that they're not used improperly.
Protecting our brand.
Exactly.
But it is, and it's recognizable, so we want to continue to protect it.
As I said before, it's a great website to use. I used some of the stuff when I worked on my own web badge ticket a few years ago. The only thing is I said, you just have to create an account, because if you don't create an account, you'll be clicking on the screen wondering why you can't download anything, and it's because they just want to be able to track who's using this. And it's these websites as well that you can download copies of Boys Life magazine as a PDF. Just be careful with that, because some of them, if you try to send them over email, they can be a little lengthy, they can be a little big in size.
The mini-mag should fit. The mini-mag PDF should fit, and there's also a digital version that you can share.
But again, all this information is pretty much available from one website. I broke it down based on the various articles I read in the meantime. So does anyone have any questions of what we may have covered this evening so far, between what Cheryl may have spoke about and what I may have spoke about, or anything else in general as we get prepared for the new recruiting season?
Rob, just to make sure, because I will follow up with a lot of material that was passed out tonight. How can, one, we get a recording of this roundtable to share? One. Two, did I hear correctly, because I haven't been on the council website in a while, do we have a marketing and membership section there that many of these ideas can be taken we can take a look at or refer people to?
It's all there. It's on the top. You'll see resources. Click on that.
Okay.
You'll find marketing and membership. Resources,
Okay.
the whole page of all kinds of stuff.
Got it.
And these
Because,
things will be there, Peter.
yeah, I do want to reach out to my unit.
Pete, you're losing the sign.
Wait a minute, here we go, here.
It's merging. It's merging into the yellow.
I know it. Maybe I should just do this.
Yeah,
I'll
so I will
that.
find out how we're going to do the recordings because I know we have a YouTube site that we actually set up, so it's going to probably be uploaded to that. And then I will talk offline because I know as Roundtable commissioners, we are looking at ways to posting information post each roundtable. So if people were unable to get the information during the meeting or afterwards, we would post it like in a drive or something along those lines. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Peter.
Well, that's all right. You know, I'm really glad to see there are 16 spaces that I can see, and 5 of them are from PAC 164 and 168. And I'm really glad to see them here. And I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you in real live time. But it was bothering me all day long that I said, I've got to reach out to my units and say, what have you been up to lately? Because, well, I know what you 2 units have been doing because you share everything with me. But I have a couple other units that I'd like to, I think they've lost some of their momentum and I want to see them get it back. Look at that big smile on Iris. Aaron's got one too. I can't see Heather's, and I know that Jen and Tara have smiles. On Tara.
I'm happy. We have a brand new Scout BSA girls troop in Ludlow.
Oh, that's
with 1774.
Yeah.
We're always looking for people to join the commissioner ranks, you know, but we also know that there's important work to be done at inside every unit. And that's really the front lines.
I have a question for Cheryl.
Yes.
I am not finding the link to pre-order the recruitment packets that can be picked up on August 22nd.
I think the last time I saw that was on one of the News for You constant comment letters that we get through email. Do you get that?
I got the constant contact email, the last one, but it wasn't there.
Okay, I'll get that on the site. I will talk to Art tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
About
I don't see the link either.
Okay.
I looked at myself.
Yeah, so I think that's on there, but we'll get that to you. I know that there is, on the marketing membership page, there is a whole form to fill out for flyers, but I don't know how many of us are going to be using any paper flyers, maybe virtual ones. But we can also get stuff like that or PDFs. So I'll be talking to Art and and to Jasmine to get all of that updated. Rob, I'd like to get your 2 screens.
Yeah, sure.
There, if you can.
No problem.
You could either send those to me.
Yep.
And I will forward those, and I will put my presentation up there as well without the videos, because that takes up a lot of space. So what you can do is you can find the videos yourselves, and I do encourage that. But you know, all of Rob's links would be very helpful to us.
And they're actually dial links. All you have to do is click on them, and that's it.
Right.
I don't format them to look confusing. So are all the schools in the area, as far as I know, going to be doing a hybrid in the fall? Has anyone officially heard?
I think they're all different.
Yeah.
Our town was originally doing for all grades. They were originally going to split. It was going to have to be hybrid or remote, your choice.
Yeah.
After parent feedback, they changed it to 6th grade and down. 4 days in person, and Friday will be a remote half day.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is with them going to the remote format, it'll be nice if we can get into our membership materials into however they're going to be communicating with the students for the remote material.
I mean, right now they're doing Zoom meetings with parents. share all that information as the information changes regarding schools and how they're going to work everything.
Yeah, the plan is this week, we're gonna do it this way. Next week, we're gonna do it another way.
Yep.
And unfortunately, there are it's like noses. Opinions are like noses. Everybody has one.
Yep.
Um, the school systems are darned if you do and darned if you don't.
Yeah.
We have to be nimble. We know things are going to change. If you have an end in the school department, share information, get our stuff posted there. Remember, use your contacts. Somebody in your unit knows someone.
Yep.
Everyone's back. All right. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. I know we went longer than we anticipated this evening. I'm going to turn it over now to Jen Traw from PAC 164 for our closing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so apparently my tech is bad. So I will read you that passage if I can set my eyes on that book that I was going to read from. Yes, I see it. So what I was going to share was a passage from the 1965 first edition, first printing of the Boy Scouts handbook. Little bit outdated, but I did think that this paragraph was still pretty applicable to today's Scouts. And it reads as follows. You, American boy, have you ever dreamed of hiking the wilderness trails that were worn down under moccasins hundreds of years ago? Do you hear in your imagination the almost soundless dip of an Indian canoe paddle or the ring of the axe of an early pioneer hewing a home out of the American wilderness? Have you followed with your mind's eye the covered wagons on the trek across our continent? Have you thought of the men and women who built our country by their determination and devotion? You are the descendant of those people. You are the guardian of what they built. You are the American on whom the future of our wonderful country depends. And I thought that was a great thought for recruiting for this fall.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I hope you all have a safe, a wonderful evening, a safe month, and we will see you all on September 7th.